Alrighty. Okay, so today we're gonna focus on the hammies. The hammies. All right, the hamstrings. Everybody says, "Oh, so my hamstrings are tight. My hamstrings are tight." But a lot of times, the culprit isn't really the hamstrings, but basically, because everyone's been focused. Remember in those in PE class when we had to do the sit and reach test, because something magical would happen when you would touch your toes. Nothing magical happens when you touch your toes, but it's a goal. But what people forget is they're so focused on the hamstrings, which we will work on and we will stretch and make you feel longer today, is that we need to focus on the opposite muscle, which is the quad, strengthening the quad. So that is what we're going to do in order to get that ever elusive touching the toes hamstring stretch. So in today, if you have super tight hamstrings, which is probably why you're here today, you can always sit on a block and elevate yourself so your bones and your muscles are aligned in a way that we're actually stretching the hamstrings. So let's go ahead and start out standing, because I'm sure you're running from meeting back to back. Well, I guess you're not running because we're on Zoom. Go ahead and start out standing. I'll face this way so you can see me on the floor, or standing. I guess you're on the floor. You wouldn't be standing anywhere else. Inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale and begin to forward fold and roll down, roll down, roll down. Now, take a block, set of books, something to elevate so that you can push down on. And so we're going to do some P and F stretching, which is going to accelerate your ability to get to longer hamstrings. Inhale. Flat back, reach the collarbone forward. Exhale, fold deeper. You're going to take the block and you're going to press on the block. You're going to lean forward and smash the block. Your core is going to turn on. You're going to squeeze your inner thighs. Press, 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 press. If you need 2 blocks to bring the floor closer to you, or books, or a phone book. I don't even know. Oh, actually, they don't have phone books anymore, do they? Press, 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 press. And fold deeper. Inhale. Press, 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 press. Lean forward. Press, 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 press. And really smash down onto that block. You're going to feel your core engage. Press, 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 and then fold deeper. Begin to shift your weight to the heels and lift the toes. Reach your chest forward, forward, forward. And lower the toes down. Come onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels and come forward. Shift the weight forward. Maybe you need to move the blocks more forward. Squeeze the inner thighs. And lower the heels down. Inhale. Slowly coming all the way back up. And place your hands on your hips. Now we're going to do some pelvic tilting. So we take your pelvis and we're going to tuck the tailbone. This is a posterior pelvic tilt. You can slightly bend your knees. Like tucking your tailbone, like you're a scaredy dog. Like my dog is scared of the rain. So he's super scared, so we tuck the tailbone. Now, if we take the pelvic bowl and we tip it forward by arching your back, lengthen, 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 lift your collarbone and tip the pelvic bowl forward, like this, we're tipping it forward. That's called an anterior pelvic tilt. So posterior pelvic tilt is a tuck. Anterior pelvic tilt. Tip the pelvic bowl forward. So when we come down into a forward fold, onto our blocks or onto the floor, anterior pelvic tip forward. So if you notice, look, when I do an anterior pelvic tilt, I tip the pelvic bowl forward, it automatically reaches my collarbone forward. That's going to help me get deeper into my hamstring stretch. So anterior pelvic tilt, tilt the pelvic bowl forward, forward, forward. Press down into the block, reach the collarbone forward. Press, 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 press. Shift the weight forward, shift the weight forward, shift the weight forward. And come back and release and release. Okay, so now we're going to take a block or a book, something to elevate you slightly, preferably something hard, not a pillow. A pillow isn't going to really help us. And we're going to place our right foot onto the block. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot onto the block. Bending through the knee. Bending through that right knee. Forward fold and deepen the stretch on the left side. And inhale, and begin to straighten out the right leg, pulling that right hip into the socket. So you're going to come out halfway. Right leg is straight. Right leg is straight. Maybe you have to lift the heel of your left foot, and you're going to forward fold. You're not going to be able to come. You might not be able to come all the way down. I can't come all the way down, but we're getting deeper into that right, where the insertion of the hamstring is into your hip. So maybe you use a block, the tall side of the block, to help you have something to press down against. You can use, I've seen some people come in class, use a water bottle, something to help you elevate. So you can come and get deeper on your right side, So you're really pulling that right femur bone, the right thigh bone, into your hip socket. And release. Other side. So left foot onto the block, right leg straight, left knee bent. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, forward fold. Place the hands on the tall side of the block. Straighten out that left leg. Lift the right heel off the mat. Reach the collarbone forward and then slowly start to lower the right heel down. You're going to feel the stretch really into that left hip socket. Inhale, anterior pelvic tilt. So tip that pelvic soup bowl forward, reach the collarbone forward. Shift the weight forward onto that block, into your hands. Shift it back and see if you can get a little deeper. Can you lower that right heel? My right heel is almost onto the ground, not quite. And release, bending both knees, inhaling, coming all the way back up. Inhale. Exhale. All right. Now, take an object, a block, something to give you feedback in between your knees. So you have something to squeeze on that will activate your inner thighs. Inhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, forward fold. Now imagine that this is a big tube of toothpaste and you're trying to roll and swoosh the toothpaste out behind you. So we're internally rotating our legs in. My quads are on, my quads are active. And I'm trying to smash the back of my kneecaps to the wall behind me. So I'm really actively squeezing in between my inner thighs. I am pressing the back of my kneecaps towards the wall behind me, pressing down onto the block, anterior pelvic tilt. Now my legs are super fired up. My body's starting to get warm, starting to break a sweat just here from a forward fold. Anterior pelvic tilt, getting deeper into my anterior pelvic tilt, squeezing that toothpaste. The toothpaste is squirting out behind me. The back of the knees are pressing up towards the wall. My quads are active. 3, 2, 1, inhale and come on up. Exhale. So taking the block out from between your thighs. Inhale. Just a good old-fashioned forward fold, forward fold, forward fold. Anterior pelvic tilt, lifting the collarbone forward. And folding deeper. Inhale, come on back up. All right. So now we're going to take the right foot forward and the left foot back. We're going to take pyramid pose. So that's both legs straight. So what you can see is that my feet are hips width distance apart or a little wider than hips width distance apart. They're about 3.5 feet apart. My right hip is pulling back. My left hip is pulling forward. This is a hamstring stretch. Strong and straight both legs. Strong and straight both legs. Do you see the difference between my quad not on, quad on, quad not on, quad on? So I'm really trying to press and activate both legs. Inhale, exhale, and forward fold. You can use 2 objects, 2 blocks to help you press. So you have somewhere to press your hands down, reaching your chest forward. Pulling your right hip back. It's like anchoring one place and pulling the rubber band. So active through the quads. Pull the right hip back. Anterior pelvic tilt. Tip the pelvic bowl forward. Reach the collarbone forward. And fold deeper. Fold deeper. So placing the blocks or not. If you don't have blocks, you can be here. That's okay too. You can be here with your hands at heart center. Bend the front knee, drop the back knee down, low lunge. So shift the weight forward, up and back, open up through the chest, and then shift the hips back, straighten out the right leg, lift the toes. So again, anchoring and pulling the right hip back, toes up towards the sky, toes towards nose. And again, instead of this rounded back, we're going to reach the collarbone forward. That's actually going to help you get deeper into your hamstring. And pull the right hip back. So pulling that right hip back, bend the knee, come back up, and we're going to switch sides. So pyramid stretch on the left side. So left foot in front, both legs straight. You're going to pull that left hip back, right hip forward. Left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale, reaching chest forward, chest forward, chest forward. So it's going to be more effective on the hamstring. Instead of rounding your back, because, we're like, oh, look, here's my knee. I've got to get my nose to my knee because somehow that's supposed to make it better. Actually, if I lift and reach my collarbone forward, that's going to get a deeper stretch into the hamstring. Pull the left hip back. Reach forward, reach forward, reach forward. Pull the left hip back, left hip back, left hip back. Strong and straight both legs. It's very easy for your quads to be lazy here. You can actually see your quad muscle engage, lazy, active, lazy, active. So can you get your quad to be active? One way to get your quads to be active is by imagining that you're trying to press the back of the kneecap behind you. You're trying to smush something into the back wall behind you. And then where do we go from here? Oh yeah, we dropped our back knee down. And we straighten out the left leg. So we're in half Hanumanasana, so half splits. Pull the left hip back. Again, reach the collarbone forward, pull the left hip back. Quad engage. So it's very easy to have a lazy quad. Quad engage. Quad engage. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. And release. You know what? I totally forgot. I have not eaten lunch today. I'm like, no wonder why I'm hungry. All right, come on up. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit to it. And everyone is going to get the perfect stretch for you. So we're going to come back into that pyramid stance, right foot in front. We're going to bend both knees like we're at the start of the race. We're going to hook the right arm behind the right knee. My right hand is going to find the top of my left thigh. So my right arm hooks behind my right knee. My right hand finds the top of the left thigh. I'm going to take my left arm over here and give myself a hug. So I can either hold my elbow here or I can go higher up. This is going to be more challenging. Hold my elbow here. And then I'm going to straighten out both legs. And to where you are. So your leg might not be straight. That's okay. We're going to move towards straightening. But you're going to be in the perfect spot for your hamstring stretch. Active through the quads. Active through the quads. And then instead of rounding, we're going to lengthen our collarbone forward past our toes. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to switch sides. Ooh. Do you feel taller? I feel taller or longer on one side. So we have to do the other side so we don't walk around in circles. Can't be lopsided. Okay, pyramid pose on the left side. Pull the left hip back. Left arm hooks. I'm in that race. I'm bending both knees. Hook the left arm. Underneath the left knee. Left hand onto the right thigh. I'm going to give myself a hug. Maybe I'm going to go a little deeper this time. And I'm going to begin to straighten out both legs. Flop back, reach the collarbone forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Let's come down and have a seat in our seated forward fold. Again, if you have tight hamstrings, I encourage you to sit on a block so that you can do that pelvic tipping, anterior pelvic tilt, because you want to be able to tip your pelvic bowl forward. Reach forward for your seated forward fold. Washcloth, towel, strap to help you lift and lengthen forward. Inhale. It takes like 15, 20 breaths to really get into this pose. Inhale. Exhale. Because we're finding length, right? We don't want to be here. This is not good for your neck. Inhale. We want the chest to come forward. The chest to come forward. Chest to come forward. Like if I was behind you and I was pushing in between your shoulder blades to push you to come forward. 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 I can tell you I'm way more flexible now than I was 20 years ago. Easily. Easily more flexible and stronger. And release, release, release. Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me know next time what part of the body or theme that you want to work on, and I will create a class just for you. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.